Hola.
Welcome to this episode of Yup, We Said It. Before we dive in, we want to make it clear that the views expressed in this episode are our personal opinions and reflections. This discussion isn't about endorsing any political party, candidate, or agenda. It's about the way people approached and responded to the elections. Our goal is to create a space for open conversation and mutual respect, regardless of where you stand politically. We encourage listening, reflecting, and engaging with kindness as we share our thoughts. Let's get started.
Seemed like this election was all hatred. It's like we're all supposed to be united in the United States. It was like this side and this side, and everybody's just bashing. And like, I just don't want any part of it. I'm not saying who I'm for, but it's like, respect each other, respect each other's choices.
Well, there's a lot of people that are uneducated on the actual facts of what is going on, that have opinions, but they don't even really know what's going on.
No, I agree. And I think that one of the things that I found to be very disturbing was that you're not giving me permission to have my own opinion. You want me to understand where you're coming from, but if I say something, then you want to correct me or you want to convince me. And that's not how I remember growing up and thinking about politics. I remember there being like this rule of what a president was like and a council member and the judges. They had like there was this power that they had. And now it's like you're not even allowed to have that level of respect for it. I don't know. That's my personal opinion.
They were a lot more not respected. Their roles were respected. They were more sophisticated when I was growing up. Now, I studied political science in college, and my understanding of the political science is that the rules and choices that are made is supposed to benefit the majority of the people. And that's not what's really going on, in my opinion.
It seems like, to me, everything from both sides is an attack. It's what the other one's not doing or what the other one said. Talk about yourself and then tell us what you're going to do, what's great about you, whatever. I don't like the attacking of each other. When you sit there and you're watching commercial after commercial, I could not wait for the election to be over. She's saying this, he's saying this. It's like against each other. And it's like, oh my gosh, just enough already. I was like, I don't even want to vote at this point because you're both driving me nuts. Yeah.
I think that it got to a point for me where I didn't know what the issues were. And even when I went digging to find out, okay, so what are they doing about this? Or what are they doing about, it was hard to find anything except the negative stuff. Like,
yeah,
he's not doing that. She's not doing that.
Yeah.
Or he's not doing. And I'm like, okay.
Three of us never really speak about politics or who we're voting for, what our party is, or anything like that. I know my youngest sister called me, and I was just minding my own business, and she was like, "Who did you vote for?" Like, excuse me? Who did you vote for? I'm like, why does it matter? It's over now. And she was like, well, that's all I needed to know, and then hung up on me. And I'm like, what? And then she's like, I sent her a message and asked, are you asking all your family, friends, and clients who they voted for? And she was like, I sure am. And I'm like, why? And I'm like, I don't go around doing that. She was like, that's the difference between me and you. And I'm like, my gosh, that's because I'm sane. Okay.
Yeah. But say who they voted for.
I mean, it doesn't matter, really. It doesn't matter at this point. I mean, I think sometimes the two-party system makes it be an illusion of choice. Because really, how much say-so do we really have?
It's crazy because Jim and I, we talk about politics and stuff like that, but we never talk about what our choices are. A couple years back, I think it was about 7 or 8 years ago, we were having a discussion about politics, and it caused us to have a little bit of friction because I was looking at something one way, he was looking at it another way. And then we made that decision. You can have your opinion, I can have my opinion, but we don't never really have to discuss it because we're going to agree to disagree on a lot of things. And I just wish that that was the same with some friends and family members and people outside of my household. I was like, well, damn, I have to walk out the door and people are immediately, because I'm a minority, immediately have a perception of what party I belong to. Or I'm like, the only party I belong to is the party here at my house, party at my house. That's the only party I belong to.
The amount of family and friends who have like distanced themselves from each other or just shunned each other over somebody that doesn't even know their name. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah. I know a lady who has been friends with this other woman for years. They were friends for about 10, 11 years. And the first time around, when the politics started really getting heated about 8 years ago, they had a discussion, just a conversation. And because one of them didn't agree with something, they have not spoken to each other in 8 years. Mind you, they had like a friendship of 11 years and they stopped speaking to each other. And I was like, are you kidding me? And I found out because I asked, I said, hey, have you heard from so-and-so? And they're like, oh yeah, we don't talk since this happened, that happened. And that opinion was this, my opinion was that. And I'm like, are you kidding, right? No, they were dead serious. They have not spoken.
Yeah, I know a situation like that as well, where they were friends for like 20 years, and one of them posted something on Facebook, and the other one commented, and they were saying, oh, well, if you feel like that, then I don't want to be your friend. Okay, well, then don't be my friend. And a 20-year friendship down the tube because they didn't agree on something.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I just find that to be insane. I posted something on my page, and I hardly ever post anything on Facebook, but I posted something. It was just a picture. I didn't make a comment. It was just an expression of something that kind of hit home for me a little bit because I was like, hey, that's not how I feel. And it was crazy as I'm going through. It was almost like I was kind of looking at it and trying to, I don't know, like trying to gather that data. Like I see who's got opinions, and then I see who's just trying to be kind. Then I see who really is just like, oh, this is the platform where I'm going to let you what I think. And I'm like, it was a picture. But I had people getting on there and trying to justify, and it just kind of made me laugh. When I was talking to one of my daughters about it, and they're like, well, Mom, just block them. And I said, no, I'm going to encourage them to have their opinion. I'm not going to take it down. I'm not going to block them because then I would just be as petty as they are.
I wouldn't get rid of someone who has a different opinion, but when they get nasty, and it could be about anything, but there was a lot of nasty stuff going back and forth. I don't want that. I don't want that.
One thing, though, about this election is I'm so glad it's over because I'm not getting 9,000 text messages anymore.
Oh, the mail every day. I had like 10 of those cards, those big...
from the same people. I'm like, how many times do I need to see your name?
And I'm thinking, boy, if they save this money and put it toward the cause.
Can you imagine what they will be able to do with all the money they invested on getting their name out there or getting commercials?
Oh, I know. Yep. That's why we were like, thank goodness it's over.
There was a report where I don't know if it was $8 billion. One of the candidates spent $8 billion. I kept thinking, how many people could we have?
$8 billion?
That's crazy. That's crazy.
I need to go back and verify the facts, but I could have swore that it was in the billions because I was like,
and
that also
$1 to every household.
That makes it where someone who doesn't have money can't run. You have to be to be able to run.
I think that's one of the problems with politics is that they need to have somebody who has not had a silver spoon in their mouth.
I mean, at the end of the day, I think that it's important for you to be passionate about things because that's how you make change. But there's a difference between being passionate and then trying to impose your beliefs and your passion on someone else. if that makes any sense. Like, respect me enough to let me have an opinion. Respect me enough to let me be able to speak without you trying to correct me or tell me that, I don't know what I'm talking about. Well, neither do you. I mean, like, we don't sleep with these people. We don't eat with these people. They don't, they don't pay my bills. I don't know. You
Right.
make it seem like I'm talking about your mama. I ain't trying to sleep with your man, and I ain't talking about your mama. I ain't trying to steal your money. So chill out.
I know it gets so heated quick. It's not even a build-up. It's
No,
right away. I
no.
don't have time for
What's
that. I
going to
don't
be
want that.
interesting is Thanksgiving is coming, right? I would love to be a fly on the wall in some of those households where there's a lot of division about what they believe and what they don't believe, or what they support, what they don't support.
Well, I wonder how many people have already alienated themselves from their friends and family, are not even going to participate in the upcoming holidays.
Yeah.
True.
I just hope they don't even bring it to the table. I'll be
Yeah.
thankful if we don't talk about politics. That's what I'll be thankful for.
Me too. It's not
That's not the place for it.
Mm-mm. How do you ladies feel about, like, even from a religious standpoint, where even religious leaders and people that are representing the church or a church having their opinion and trying to share that opinion and influence people that follow them or talk to them? Do you feel like there should be a say, or do you feel like that should be like two separate things? What are your thoughts about that?
So, I studied political science in college, and a lot of my personal beliefs are different than my political beliefs. So, do I think somebody that has a religious background should impose their beliefs on others? No, because we all have the right to worship or believe what we believe. But I do think that when our country was founded, that Christian was a baseline for it.
Yeah, I think it should be separate. They're two completely different subjects.
What do you
I don't
think?
know.
I kind of think what you're saying, Elizabeth, that I see where that might be why it crosses over, because that's what our, country was founded on. But I also believe that there should be two separate entities. Like, what I think politically should not allow someone to judge me of how my spiritual walk is. Because I don't think this way, then I must not be this way. And unfortunately, I experienced that a little bit, and it was kind of like threw me for a loop, because I didn't think that people really would do that. Just because you assume that you know what political party I support or whatever, you assume that now I am not Christian enough. I got that from a couple people, and I'm like, you don't even know what I'm thinking. You don't even know what route I'm going. But I don't know if that was their way of trying to push me to say what they wanted me to say, or if it was really how they genuinely felt. Like, they just judged the book by its cover. So that's why I asked how you ladies felt about that.
I think a lot of times people are judged by the way they look.
Yeah.
I know when I was standing in line to go vote, I counted how many women per men were in that line, because at one point in time, women didn't have the right to vote. I'm like, look at us ladies showing up.
That's right. Show up and show out.
Crazy.
I think that we need to be more respectful of other people's thoughts and opinions. It's kind of sad because my granddaughter, my oldest granddaughter, this was her first time voting for presidential. And she was excited, scared, and nervous. And I was like, what are you scared of? And she's like, well, I don't know. Like, and she has such valid things to be fearful about. She said, I know what I want to do, but I feel like there's so much pressure from some of her other college friends, some of her immediate family, some of her friends. So we had a long conversation about that, and it kind of made me sad because me, this is like a big deal. Yeah, hey, I get to, my first election. And instead it was more like, oh, this is so stressful. I'm sure her therapist was so happy because she made good money because for like 3 weeks she was sitting on that.
So, I mean, I don't know. Do you guys ever get pressures from your family about which way to vote?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I definitely do.
Yeah, I wouldn't say my immediate family, but from my extended family, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I remember one year, one election, I went and voted. And I was like, immediately after, I was like praying. I was like, oh my God, I think I just voted for the wrong person. But does my one little vote really matter that much?
Oh, it does. It matters.
It was the only time that I felt that way. It was like, oh my God.
Whatever, too.
If it went wrong, it was your fault, Elizabeth, that one vote. Have you guys experienced any other uncomfortable scenarios since the elections or prior to the elections?
I haven't. Just like I said, just seeing all the ugliness that I wouldn't think certain people would say or do the things that they did just because of an
I
election.
seen a certain politician twice in two different locations, and this person was literally 2 feet from me and didn't even say hi both times. And I'm like, okay, you're a little stuck on yourself there, aren't you? Well, I don't know. I feel like if you want to make an impact with the people, talk to the people.
Yeah,
I agree. I don't know
that's
if
funny.
everybody understands what they're doing. They're representing the people. So you
I
need to
remember there
connect.
was a girl coming around petitioning and getting signatures to be on, I think it was city council maybe. And girl, I had every question in the book to ask her. She's like, I don't have a plan, but I am going to make some changes. I'm like, okay.
Not prepared.
I don't know. How can you go in politics or anything without some sort of idea of a plan?
I think too, for some people, it's a stepping stone. They want to be here in this office, but in order to get there, I'm going to have to do this one, this one, this one. So they're like thinking big, but not really focusing on the job that they've got.
Steps along the way.
So in order to dream big, you have to plan for the small stones, the stepping stones.
So our learning lesson for today is that you can remain friends with people. You never have to talk about politics because we don't know who each other voted for. Be kind to people. This, next 4 years, and then there'll be another 4 years, and then we'll keep on going. And
I agree.
But yeah, just remain friends. Respect people's difference of opinions.
Exactly. Hear them out. And like Marissa said, agree to disagree.
Agree to disagree. Ladies, I think this was an interesting topic that it's not as hot as last week's topic. That was a hot one, but it was still kind of one that needed to be discussed. And like Elizabeth said, at the end of the day, it's important to have an opinion, respect each other's opinion. You don't pay your bills. They're not doing anything for you. So not enough to cut out, your family or friends. All right. And it closes out.
Thank you for joining. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share our videos. And click on the little bell at the bottom so that way you get notified every time we post a new video.
Yes. And now we are streaming. So we are on Apple Podcasts. So don't forget to follow us there as well. Have a good night, ladies.
Thanks.
Good night.
Good night.
According to www.npr.org, the total spending for the 2024 U.S. elections reached record-breaking levels, estimated between $15.9 billion and $16 billion. This amount includes federal elections, such as congressional and presidential campaigns, and is the highest ever recorded, surpassing the $15.1 billion spent in 2020. To verify and explore the data further, go to www.geotv or www.washingtonexaminer.com.